Hi, it's Erica again from Simply Craft and welcome to another Demo Plus, and quite exciting one this time because I'm going to show you the new Distress Oxide from Ranger, designed by Tim Holtz. You will know his original Distress inks, which we use and love a lot, and they're very much for backgrounds, whereas these new ones are a hybrid of a pigment and a dye ink, whereas these are dye inks. And the lovely thing about it is they're now able to be used for stamping, which I love, and they're a bit more opaque, so you can use them on dark colours and you can layer them, which is even better. So just to give you some comparison for the moment on light and dark card. So this is our cracked pistachio, and that is the Distress ink, and as you can see on dark card it just doesn't show. And then you use the oxide, and that's it on the card, and then on the dark card, what a difference. So you can see really shows up. So the colours are they've kept the colour almost exactly, but the opaqueness on dark card is really good, and also they're really good for stamping. So you can see the coverage is really nice on the stamp, got a really nice coverage, so they can even stamp on dark card, which was very difficult before, well, impossible with the stamps before. And even though you can stamp with Distress ink, it never gave you a brilliant finish because it used to sort of bobble up on the surface. So let's give it a go and I can show you what I mean. I would find if you sweep it across rather than just dab it, you would get a better finish, but they were never really designed for stamping. See, that's come out okay, but sometimes it would, and on clear stamps, you just couldn't use them at all. So that's the main basics behind it. But the really lovely thing about it is when you add water to it. So this stamped image now, I'm going to use a fine spray, because I found my Distress spray was just giving blobs. So you want a fine spray, so let's get it going. And can you see how that is all coming out now? That has made it much brighter. And then if you heat it, it does change the colour. Because I'll do another one and show you the difference between the two. You can see it has changed its colour, and that white, that's the part they call the oxide. That's what comes out. So it's a nice look, and it gives you something different to work with. So one of the things that I really liked, and I'll use a different colour just for something different to use, vintage photo, I think we use vintage photo. So I'm going to sweep the card, whoops, with the ink. I'm not worried about it being solid because I quite like the patchiness of it, and this is a textured card, so it may not completely cover anyway. I'm just going to dry that. Right, so I've dried that a bit and you can already see some different colours coming through, but if I take my Distress sprayer and spray some in my hand and flick it on, then you can see it reacting. Let me just dry my hands. I might dab some off as well with some tissue. But you can see those white spots coming through. So it gives a really Let me dry some and then I'll dab some and see if that makes a difference. I think I love the just drying it actually. It just gives a lovely effect. You've got and it's got a really weird sort of satiny feel to it, almost like the chalk paints, you know. So but again, this is always water reactive, so if I add more, it's going to react again. So it's never going to be stable unless you seal it. And there is a microglaze for Distress inks, and if you use that, then you would seal it and keep it as it is. So yeah, dabbing it off and drying it does a similar thing. But the lovely thing about this now is you can layer. So I've got my little stamp, and I'll use my cracked pistachio just because it's quite a light colour. And if I stamp it, I can layer designs on top, which is really nice. And don't forget, we're working on dark card that you couldn't work with before with the other colours. I wonder what a spritz would do to it. I might ruin it all, but let's give it a go. Make sure we've got it on spritz. Ooh, got some weird things going on there then. And then if I try it without the water, see what the difference is. I mean, these are new to me as well, so you know, we're just having a play really. Yeah, so you've got the difference in colours now because I've added water and when I haven't added water. Yes, very nice. So that's one way of using them, and the beauty is there are loads of ways to use them. So really looking forward to getting stuck in. One of the main ways obviously is with the non-stick sheets and the direct to paper technique. So we'll just put some dabs of colour out. I think try the fossilised amber. Oh, I could explain which colours we've got, couldn't I? Iced spruce, wilted violet, worn lipstick, fossilised amber, broken china, vintage photo, fired brick, cracked pistachio, spiced marmalade, peeled paint, walnut stain and faded jeans. So it's a mix of the new and the old Distress ink colours, and obviously I'm assuming that they'll bring more out. But one thing I do know, and it's been said, they won't be bringing them out in the minis. So it will definitely be these sizes. I think it's something to do with the way they're made. But at the moment, that is something that... So if you're waiting for the minis to come out, I think you might be waiting a long time. So I've got my colours out on the sheet, and then I'm going to spritz them with some water, and you can see the kind of milkiness come out of them. It's really lovely. Then I think I'll use the back of this one and smush it through. Ooh, I've got some lovely textures going on there, which I don't really want to lose. Oh, now it's dribbling. So that's looking good. Put that to one side just for a minute, because there is a little bit more. Let's try it on the craft card and just pick up the excess so I can start using it again. So there's a one. Now we're gonna have mess everywhere, aren't we? So I'm gonna dry these because I want to try the layering. Love how that's come out. So just to speed it up, I just dabbed it off a bit as well, just so we've got something we can get on with. And the same with this one. So let's try another couple of colours. Let's try that one. Ooh, nice colour. With a little bit of blue. And this one, oh, this one is Broken China. That was Worn Lipstick, Broken China. I don't really want to mix the pads and get them messy, but apparently, because they're a felt pad, they're not too difficult to work with. I love the way that all bubbles. Right, let's try it again. Ooh. See now, even though it is reactivating, it is also layering, which you wouldn't be able to do with the other colours. Let's quickly get some of that colour up. So there we go. Right, wipe that down. It's quite subtle on this craft card, but then it was the second. But look at that oxidization where it's got the white patchiness coming. It looks really great. And on this one, I love it. It's got some really, you've still got the lovely bright colours, and I haven't killed it by overlapping colours that might have made it all look a bit muddy. So you've got some lovely colours going on there. Really nice. The other thing, of course, I was thinking that maybe if you make a piece like this, then you could edge the colours with the blending tool. So I've got the fossilised amber there and the dabber, and obviously you can blend with these as well, and they blend really lovely. They're, you know, they're very smooth and easy to blend. And then of course you're changing the colour again. So that was pink and it's going into that yellow now. Really nice. So there we go, you know, it makes a really lovely edge. We can do it down a little bit more with fired brick. Let's try that. Just on the edge. Oh, it really does blend beautifully. Oh yeah, look at that. So you can see you can really create some gorgeous backgrounds with these. But you've also got the beauty that you can stamp with them. So let's get a stamp. I'm using this set. I'm just in love with this set at the moment. That peacock feather is just gorgeous. I'm just going to try the little 3 hearts. Let's get them straight. And then, I mean, this is the thing you never think of doing before with distress inks. So this is wonderful, being able to stamp with them. I think they're quickly going to become a favourite because they're so easy to use. And they really have changed the game, you know. It's really something that's very different. Oh, look at that. That's wonderful. So that's the other. Oh, there's one more technique that I was going to show you, if I can find a piece of card for it. Obviously you can work straight onto the card. So let's just put a couple of colours down. I mean, like this, or directly. Obviously you do use more ink when you do it this way, so up to you. There are re-inkers for these as well, which I think I'm soon going to have to get because I'm using these colours a lot. So let's get loads of ink on our blender and do it that way. Not use quite so much. And also I wanted to blend these two colours in. Look at that, it's blending gorgeous. Wonderful. And it's not picking up too much on my pad and taking it into the other colour, which is good. So I've got two nice colours going on there. Looking good. And I might as well finish off with the purple because I can. And let's get some purple going. Oh, need to get plenty on. Let's start it off. Let's get it started. Yes. And see, because I can blend it, I'm using the colour that's already on the card and just smoothing it. Now, it might depend what kind of card you're using, what effect you're going to get. So it's worth a thought, just trialing out different cards. But this is just a smooth cream card and I'm not having any difficulty with it, so it's pretty good. Oh, I put my finger in it. See, that will that will affect it. So there we go. Let's move that out of the way, all the messy. So one thing I was thinking of was with the spritzer and spritzing it on, but also you could do it with a splatter brush. So I'm just going to try the splatter brush with nothing in it but water and see what that does. Oh, that's quite easier to control. So that's working quite well. Happy with that. Oh, lovely. And then we'll try putting some colour in on the mat and see what we can do with that. I can see me playing for hours to see what I can achieve with these. Definitely. So we've got some fine spatters with that. And then let's try with a colour. What should we go for? Orange. So we've got some orange on our palette. Spritz some water and then put that in the splatter brush. See what happens. Ooh. Now let's try a darker colour. Go for the brown. I'm running out of clean matte here. Now re-inker would be really great for this. Save me trying to get it all out onto my brush. Oh, drop my brush then. So dip it in and spatter that on as well. So you can sort of vintage the piece of work with the spatters. I'm vintaging everything because everything is ending up in spatters. Right, let me get a clean bit of tissue before I cause absolute havoc in the room. And we'll give that a quick dry. So it's given a really nice effect because you've got the blended colours and you can see how lovely they blend. Obviously that blend isn't so good and that's a very good reason, and that's the colour wheel. This red has a lot of orange yellow in it and this purple is very blue. So if you mix yellow, red and blue you get brown. And that's what's happening. So we've got a little bit of a muddiness there, but I don't dislike it. It's just, it would be harder to blend to get it pure like we have with that. But what I do like is the spots over the top from the spatter brush, but then the spots from especially that brown has added the colour. And like I said, because it's opaque, it is sitting on top and it's not blending in like you would have with a Distress ink. So really loving that. I mean, I may probably just cut that off and just use that bit and use that on a separate piece of work. But it's given me some really good ideas of how to use these colours. So I hope you enjoyed that little tour, and I'm sure I will have some more ideas for these Distress Oxides. That's a new term that we'll have to remember. And I hope you enjoyed my video. Thank you very much for watching.